You know, many people tend to believe that relationships end because of disagreements, judgment, could be something like lack of respect, and big events. And they often do end that way, but in my experience, they begin with something in a lot more of the quieter moments. For example, if you are exposed to a shock, did you know that your body actually, your freeze response and your amygdala will actually shut down your vocal cords, and that's why you feel like you can't talk to the person. And in that moment, when that fear happens, you shift your identity into protection. So you stop expressing things that you're actually feeling, and you start managing how you're going to show up, right? So you become, for me, I know this was one thing that I always had, is I became the one who's going to handle it, right? Hold it together, keep the peace. And from the outside, it looks really strong, but internally, what you're doing, and what I used to do, was just move totally out of myself without even knowing it into performance. And here's what I didn't understand then. You see, every time we choose performance over honesty, we don't build a connection, we actually create a break. Because connection is based on truth and presence, on being seen in what's real. And when you withhold that from another person, even with good intentions, something disconnects. And those breaks don't feel big in the moment. They're like, no big deal, we'll just forget about that. They're subtle, but they start to stack. And one moment of not saying how you feel turns into another, and then another, until over time, the relationship doesn't feel like a connection anymore. It feels like duty, obligation, and you can feel the distance. And then one day you look at each other and you realize that you don't just have problems, but you've actually grown apart. That's a pattern that I'm calling Ronnie Rescue. It steps in for you in your brain because it feels unsafe. So your brain turns on to protection mode, and in comes Ronnie Rescue. And it tells you, hey, be strong. Don't handle it. Don't make it worse. But what it's really doing in the background is protecting you from vulnerability. And without vulnerability, you can't build true connection in that relationship. You slowly break it. So the question isn't, how are you showing up in your relationship? The real question that we want to be asking ourselves is, are you being honest about what you're actually feeling when it matters most? Because if you're not, you might not be building the relationship. You might be slowly breaking it down. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about how the same pattern doesn't just affect your relationships, but it actually hits your body in real time. The bottom line is that relationships don't break in conflict. They break in the moments where fear replaces honesty.